So, like, should we start immediately or wait for like 5-7 minutes for the audience to join, attendees to join?
Yeah, we can wait 5 minutes. It's like 5 10 minutes. You were saying about the Chainlink's partnership.
Yeah, actually, I was just surfing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Chainlink is in business with US Department of Commerce to bring official government macroeconomic data on chain.
Oh, okay.
That's huge. And Chainlink infrastructure supports 10 prominent blockchains as of now. It's Ethereum, Avalanche, Arbitrum, Optimism, the main ones which are running the infrastructure.
Hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Even this we can highlight. Like I'll just mark this for our next webinar. So is the stream started?
Okay, I forgot to do something. Wait.
No, it's take your time. It's like sharp 9. No one will join at sharp 9.
So I've kept the.
Yeah, be comfortable, no worries.
So basically, I forgot keeping the mic in front of the speaker.
Oh,
So you're.
yeah, I remember previous call. I guess there was some background noise.
Huh. So
No
someone.
worries.
We are actually live. There is someone. Mnick. Hi, Mnick. Is
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Sahil's voice visible now? Mm.
It's
So Sahil was telling me about Chainlink's partnership with the US Department of Commerce. Wait, I'll just.
okay. Okay, my voice is echoing. Am I clearly audible? Is it better? One of the attendees is saying
Yeah,
it in
yeah,
chat.
yeah. Right. I just moved the mic to the. Can you just try speaking again, Sahil?
Hello. Hello. Yeah. Hello. Welcome to the Kwala stream. Another Kwala stream. I'm pretty excited to work here with Rajdeep.
Let me just confirm with someone. GM Pranav, how's it going?
Is it better now? Like, do I need to make some arrangements from my side?
No, no. So it's like I can hear it properly.
Oh,
It's totally clear, but I think the setup might be a little. There might be a
yeah, quite possible. Maybe there's some network or infra limitation or something.
Yeah, I'll just confirm with everyone. Pranav and Mnick, are you guys able to hear both of our voice?
Hello. Am I audible? Oh, I guess YouTube stream looks a couple of seconds delayed.
Yeah, yeah, it's deleted.
Hi Pranav Kasais, thank you joining the live with. Yeah, so Pranav happens to be from my hometown.
Oh, nice. To learn something.
He's also a Web3 enthusiast.
Nice. What is Pranav building? You guys can just draw.
Oh, cool. I guess my voice is better now, or there are some slight echoes, I guess. Oh, cool. People are joining.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's wait for another couple of minutes, and then I guess we are good to go.
Cool, cool.
Perfect. So it's pretty fun, yeah. As you were discussing, Rajdeep, Chainlink is in business with the American government of commerce, and being in commerce, like most of the financial and the US holds huge digital asset treasury, like it's in millions, and that country, rather the Trump administration, like he himself had mentioned that he wants to make America the crypto capital of the world. So, and this was a part of his campaign for the presidency. So, this is huge that Trump is now, he's working in that direction, and this will impact the whole global digital asset market, which will be huge. So, it's pretty great as we were discussing that the commerce data of the US government will be now on chain along with, including the different chains which Chainlink Enterprise is supporting, like Ethereum and Arbitrum. So, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And like since you mentioned Chainlink, it again obviously reminds me of Kwala because Kwala does
Exactly.
a lot of the stuff that Chainlink does, but without having to get some developer on board. Like any person could actually use it.
I
Uh,
completely agree with you. Like we at Kwala, we are also a Web3 infrastructure company. We are building an automation infrastructure with which is completely backendless, serverless. So it's quite great for like our developers to know more about it, get educated more about this. So it's pretty cool, man.
so Xiaomi, Xiaomi Xiaomi is getting into
Yeah.
crypto.
So I guess let's jump on to this hot topic which we can see on our screen. I guess my screen is visible. If it's not, someone on YouTube could just comment out in the chat or something.
Hey Dhiren, hey Dhiren Pratap, Satish.
If someone could like quickly, just confirm that my screen is visible, the YouTube audience I'm talking about.
Yeah, just say a GM, say yes. I think it's visible anyway, but just
Just a second, and I'll just ping once. Oh, perfect. Okay, so thank you for that, Pranav. Thank you for confirming that my screen is visible. Yeah, so I guess we're good to go. Perfect. So, hello everyone. Welcome to another Koala stream. Pretty excited to work here with my friend Rajdeep, who is really a legend in this stuff. So, as you can see on the screen, the hot topic for today, which we will be discussing, like it will be a casual discussion, like it's just between friends. It's nothing, like it's nothing complicated. You guys are free to talk. You can drop comments on YouTube and all. It's completely open. So recently, we were researching about some trends in the Web3 industry. So as you can see on the screen, okay, someone just mentioned my voice is echoing a bit. Rajiv, can you just confirm it once?
Is it better now? Yes.
If it's like any requirements, any adjustments I need to do from my side, just let me know.
Yeah, I think it's better now. I just
Yeah.
updated.
Hello. Yeah, I guess it's better now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool folks. So let's get started. So as you see on the screen, so this is a really hot topic which we will be discussing today for the initial couple of minutes, and of course then we will be jumping to our hot topic, which is Kwala. So basically, the headline itself mentions that Xiaomi and C blockchain, they are bringing crypto wallets to millions of smartphones. So recently, Xiaomi and C, so they recently signed a huge agreement. So, which is an association. It's a partnership that from now onwards, all the Xiaomi phones will be having a pre-installed C crypto wallet app. So this is a huge thing. This is kind of like, yeah, hello. You're saying something, Ashley?
No, no.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So this is a huge step. So this is like the third revolution in pre-installed applications, I'll say. The first was, it used to have Internet Explorer as a pre-installed application for the very basic level. And now it's like second generation, which used to have Google Chrome and all. And sorry, the first generation included Google Chrome as well. And the second generation, which had pre-installed applications, were like Netflix and Amazon Prime and all. So those were the second generation of trend. And being Web3, this is I feel this is like the third generation now that crypto applications are getting, like pre-installed on mobile phones. So this is, as you can read, this is like the countries targeted include Europe, Latin America, Southeast Asia, and Africa. So as of now, like these applications are supported outside mainland China and the United States. So because of the mass adoption of the like worldwide crypto wallet usage and all, so like every person has multiple wallets. It's not like one user is stuck with just one wallet and limit its use. So there are multiple wallets which are already in use, and because the number of wallets are increasing, the global adoption of Web3 is increasing. As the wallets are now, like Xiaomi has made it convenient for its users. Like they don't need to install any third party app or something different. Like boom, like you open your phone, you power on it. It's a new brand phone, and you have your C blockchain wallet installed. So simply you can open it, you can like buy, sell, or like trade, swap for digital assets. And further, if you're a dev, you can use that in like building your dApps. And all. If you're a trader, you can use it for digital asset trading. So it's pretty cool, and it's growing really fast. It has a huge user base, and just like the users are increasing, the traction on blockchains is also increasing. There are like thousands of transactions happening per minute. Transactions basically, in layman language, I'll say it's data transfer. So like fast, instant data transfers are happening, and they are growing on a huge scale. And this is where we need to, the infrastructure which supports this technology comes into picture. The higher the usage, the like the better and faster and secure infra you need. So this is where bridging. Bridging is basically connecting two chains. Let's say I am on C. I'm a C user, and I want to access some data which is on Polygon, and then I want to create a bridge to Polygon and further connect to Polygon, and thus I'll create a bridge. So this is what we are going to talk about. So as you can see, the onboarding is simple, security is enhanced, regions prioritized, And of course, like the stable coins, which is a huge digital asset market, this has got a boom. So this eventually needs a better infra. This eventually needs bridging between the chains. And that is what today my friend Rajdeep is going to educate us about. So that's it from my side. Over to you, Rajdeep.
Thank you so much, Sahil. This was really fun. Um, so basically, as Sahil said, bridging is probably the most, um, at least one of the most important use cases of blockchain um, in the current scenario, especially where you have got different devices and devices like phones and multiple blockchains, not just one blockchain like Ethereum, but blockchains on based on Ethereum, like EVM based blockchains, as well as others which are interconnected, but people need to be able to transfer money from one blockchain to the other seamlessly. That's where bridging comes in. So let me just jump to today's use case, which is intent based bridging. We'll come to the intent based part in a while. But if you've attended the last session, we discussed a simple bridging use case, which was USDC bridging from any EVM based chain to another. And for that, we use Circle's CCTP, the protocol that Circle uses. And today we're going to take up another use case of bridging, which is called intent based bridging, which is a lot more faster in the sense that it uses a totally different architecture from the other bridging paradigms. Like you might have heard about different bridging protocols, like obviously Circle's CCTP, but other stuff like message passing, and you must have heard about wormhole, probably might have used it as well. But intent based bridging is something that uses liquidity on the source and destination pools. Just getting to that in a while. We are actually following intent based bridging, which is implemented by this protocol called Across. So Across protocol does intent based bridging, and we are going to build a really simple version of that today. We have broken down the working of Across protocol, and okay, yeah, we've broken down the working of Across protocol and simplified it further so that we can build that with pretty much no code. You won't have to write some backends or relayers, which are usually critical parts of building a bridge. You'll be using Kwala to build this. There'd be some smart contracts that would interact with each other, which are on these source and destination chains. And by the end, you will be able to do a transfer from one EVM based chain to another using Kwala's bridge. So this is where we have hosted the app. And okay, cool. So let me start with the architecture first. Let me give you a brief of the architecture, how it works. So bridging essentially means sending tokens from one chain to another, or sending any data from one chain to another, which happens to be tokens usually. So in our simple use case, we'll just transfer some tokens from the ETH testnet, Sepolia testnet, to Avalanche testnet. We'll be transferring this, we'll be transferring this ERC20 token that we created just for testing it out. So we created this MUSDC token, and you'll be simply sending a transaction from this source chain to this destination chain. Getting into the architecture. So user essentially approves their transaction. Let me actually show you the flow So I'll just send some 0.6 USDC from our, okay, this is actually popping MetaMask, so you just need to sign this. And while it's processing, I'll just show you the, so when you approve this and create intent, this is a smart contract function that is part of our bridge architecture. This function is called, which I just signed with my MetaMask. And when you do this, an event is emitted. So what are events? Events are things that happen, emitted by Ethereum or Solidity programs. So this event is emitted. Okay, I'll come to the comments in a while. Let me just go through the architecture first. And this event is gonna be listened by Kwala. So I'll just show you how this Kwala workflow works in a while. But then this event is watched by Kwala, and then it calls something called fill intent, which is another function in our whole bridge architecture. And this is called in the destination chain. So in our case, the destination chain is Avalanche testnet. So as you can see, I had just signed it, and it pretty much bridged it in just this few seconds while I was talking about this. It just transferred. I did 0.6, there was some fee probably, so 0.5988. It was transferred instantly, and you can actually verify this on the Avalanche testnet that yeah, your funds were successfully transferred from ETH Sepolia to Avalanche Fuji. Okay, now that you've seen that this works, let's get back to the architecture. So what happened behind the scenes was that when I signed this transaction, it emitted this event, and then Kwala listened to this event and called this fill intent function on the destination chain Avalanche. And when it did that, this function call emitted another event called intent filled, and in that process, the funds were actually transferred instantly from the protocols, like the bridge protocol which we're building, its reserves on the destination chain. So how is this different from the other bridges that we talk about, like from CCTP or others, which are comparatively, I would say, slower? So how is this different? How this works is there are funds in pools in the different chains that are supported. So in our case, we just built an MVP for supporting these two chains. So what we have is we have two pools, identical pools and identical smart contracts on both of these chains, which actually looks like this. These are actually deployed on these chains as well. So we are calling it intent escrow. It holds the funds and makes sure that it's transferred correctly from the source to the destination. And once that is done, okay, give me a moment. I just need to, okay, cool. So once that is done, coming back here, the funds are actually instantly sent to the user's recipient address that we had set here. So we just set the recipient address as the user's address, and it essentially does that in an instant because there's not really much of a process that happens other than the relayer checking that okay, funds were sent to the relayer correctly. Relayer is just a middle layer which is common in all bridges. In our case, we build this relayer using Kwala. So to give you a little bit of context of how we did this, the first part that Kwala does is watching this event. So let's just configure this, And once we are done, we'll jump back to the contracts in a while. First, we'll see how this, event watching is implemented. So first of all, I'll just come to the Kwala dashboard. It's available on kwala.network, app.kwala.network. So you guys can try it out. I'll just send the link on the chat as well. Okay. Bridging is really fun. Yeah. Cool. And once you're here on the dashboard, you will see an option to create a new workflow. So you'll just click that new workflow and just open workflow builder. So I'll just open the workflow I had already created here. You can give a name to the workflow, and then comes the trigger and action conditions. So if you remember, we want to watch this intent created event, right? So what we do is select the execution settings as event and repeat after every event. Set some expiry date for this whole workflow so that it keeps working. And then we would okay, just a second. There is some issue with the camera. Cool, I think it's better now. So the next step is the trigger source configuration, in which you'd paste the contract address. In our case, we have deployed it on the Sepolia, which is the source chain. So we'll just copy that and paste that here and select the chain as Ethereum Sepolia. Okay, just a minute. I just changed my okay, cool. So I'll paste the address here, and after that I'll basically select the event name. So event name is intent created. So whenever someone signs a transaction from here to bridge, it would actually, the front end would call this intent created function, create intent, this function here, and this would emit this intent created event, right, which has got all these different parameters, which we'll come to in a while. And we do the same for the recurring config, because we basically want this trigger to work every time this event happens. So we'll just copy paste this, and once we're done, we would click next, and we want to do some action, right? We want to perform some action whenever this event happens, this trigger condition happens. So what do we want? We want to call this fill intent function, which is on the destination chain, right? It's not on ETH Sepolia, it's actually on Avalanche testnet. So what we'll do here is select a smart contract call, because we're going to call a smart contract on some chain, and select the target contract address, which is basically the same contract deployed on the destination chain. So it's the code is exactly the same, but it's deployed here on Avalanche testnet. So we'll just copy the address and paste it here, and select the chain as Avalanche Fuji, and we're going to call this fill intent function. So let me just show you what it looks like. So this is our contract, and it has got this fill intent function. What it does is essentially it transfers tokens from the inventory. The inventory is an address that belongs to to our bridge protocol, which we've built using Kwala. So this inventory will be like a pool which will have funds on all the chains so that it can instantly transfer funds whenever a user requests a bridge. So the funds which happen to be the output token, which is this token called MUSDC that we are transferring. So those funds would be sent from the inventory to the recipient. The recipient in this case is whatever the user has selected, the user's wallet address. So this is a pretty standard line that you might have seen in Solidity if you've used Solidity before, and if you haven't, that's also okay. Okay, someone is saying, how does intent-based bridging actually simplify the user experience? Okay, so Vlada, as I mentioned, intent-based bridging uses these pools. So just right now, I was describing this. It's actually sending it from the pool or from the inventory directly to the user instead of having some long relayer process doing the whole thing. So it's actually really fast. This is why it's being used a lot more nowadays rather than using other kinds of bridges. And after the transfer happens, then the intent fill event is emitted. So essentially this line is pretty much does everything. This does the transfer, and this one, the second part, is just for the, you know. Okay, so how are we passing the parameters? This is important. Let's just have a look. So what we did here was simply copied the code from here. Just copy this till here, this much, and paste it here. That's all we have done here. Just I remove the spaces, so that's the difference, but I've essentially just copied and pasted it. And then comes the target parameters. This part is important. This is something you need to set. So if you have a look here, fill intent, the first parameter is some intent ID, origin chain, recipient, blah blah blah. So we'll actually get all of these parameters pretty easily from the event that we are emitting here. So the intent created event actually has a lot of parameters, so we'll just pass them on to this function. So let me just show you the parameters. So intent ID is there already on the intent created event, right? The intent ID. So it is the 0th parameter. So we'll just say re.event0, pass it on here. The second parameter is the origin chain ID. Origin chain ID is our Sepolia, each Sepolia's chain ID, which is this. We've passed it manually here just so that I can show you that you can even pass things, just copy paste that, or you could also use these events. So you could do it both ways. Then comes the recipient. This is also passed here. The recipient is the 7, re.event7. Then comes the output token. This is also there in the events. So pretty much everything is there in the events. And the last parameter is the inventory. This I've actually passed a custom value. This is a different address that is acting as the as the inventory. And the inventory could actually be a smart contract as well, because a pool or a smart contract can be an inventory, or it could also be some wallet that is managed by the bridge. So it could be any kind of address which holds funds. It essentially needs to hold the funds, so it should be, secure. Okay, Thakur is saying, is this focus more on developers or end users right now? So I'd say it's a mix of both. It's focused for people, even for non-technical people who want to build on blockchain. they don't want to learn too much of code. They want to get these things running easily. If you want to build a business in blockchain, you want to start your own project, the Kwala is actually the perfect place, because you don't really need to dive into coding or setting up servers, which is usually the harder part. So I'd say if you're a non-dev, please do try this out. You can actually do it pretty easily, because a lot of people I've met who are not devs, um, they're like from some different areas. They've also been able to set up Koala workflows pretty easily. And for devs, yes, devs can obviously use it because you don't need to use servers. So this is again a good thing to use. So we've passed all the parameters, right? And then the execution, we just want to execute it and deploy it. So you just need to save it, compile it, save it, and deploy the workflow. As simple as that. And once that's done, you essentially, this workflow does your job. So this run that I did earlier, this ran successfully because Koala had actually executed this workflow. So if I show you the successful actions here, you can actually see all the successful actions. You'll see that intent created, this particular workflow had run successfully. That's why your funds were successfully transferred. So this is the workflow. And there's another workflow as well, which essentially helps update this message, relay this message to the front end. So I'll just show you that as well. So what it does is, if you remember in the last workflow, it emits the intent filled event. So on Fuji, when the money has been transferred, it emits this intent filled event on the destination chain. So to watch for that, what we do is we watch for that intent filled event, right? But this time not on Sepolia, not on the source chain, but on the destination chain. So I simply pasted the address which was on the destination chain, which is this address, and selected the chain and selected this particular event, intent filled, copied the same here. And the action was just a call to our front end's API route, which just lets our application, our front end application know that, okay, now the bridging has been done. So just show this message to the user. So it's just for that, so that the user doesn't have to get, they don't have to open the Explorer and check it. They can just see it here. So what's this message? I'll just show you this other, because the earlier workflow, we had done a call to a smart contract, but this time we are doing a post API call. Developers would know what's a post API. If you're not a developer, it's okay. You don't even need to read up about it. Just know that it's sending some data to this front end, and this data is essentially that, okay, this particular order has been completed, bridging has been done. Let me just increase this. Yeah, so it's actually sending all of this data, which is emitted by this intent filled event. Intent filled event has got all these parameters. So those parameters are being passed on, and intent ID, origin chain, relayer, recipient, status filled. Yeah, like the order has been completed. So this data is being sent to the front end, and it shows you this beautiful message. And yeah, this is probably one of the most elegant use cases of Koala, because bridging, as earlier we discussed, Sahil discussed about bridging, and the new mobile companies are adding support for blockchain. So bridges would be an even more critical part of the infrastructure powering blockchains, because people would be using all sorts of chains. They would not just use one particular chain, but they'd be doing cross-chain transfers. So bridges obviously come to the rescue. And to give you a little more deep dive on how this intent-based bridging works under the hood, so basically we actually simplified how across protocol works. It's intent-based bridging. Across is a pretty popular bridging protocol, and we kind of made a simpler, much more intuitive version of this, so that you can actually try out Kwala to build stuff on your own rather than having to hand code everything, write different components yourself. But essentially, intent-based bridging under the hood, it actually uses different cross-chain bridging protocols. So the first layer, which does this instant settlement, which we did here, is done by the relayer, which could be anyone running some node. And in our case, Kwala network also has a lot of nodes running, so it's sort of decentralized, you could say. And then under the hood there would be a different kind of verification going on, which usually takes some more time. And this is what across protocol also uses. So yeah, this is a pretty much a real world use case. Okay, we have some questions. How does intent, okay, I think I answered this earlier. Vlada Dev, the answer is clear, right? Sarthak says, I missed out on the beginning. Hope video will be, yeah, the video will be available on the channel. And okay, so instead of, Dhirendra says, instead of users manually choosing routes, chains, let users simply say, yeah, right. So basically you have these pools or inventory, as I showed you here. You have got this inventory which takes care of the settlement instantly. I'll actually share the GitHub repo as well so that everyone can try it out themselves. I'll just share it on the chat, and I'll also share the interface. So to use the interface, you probably need those tokens on these two chains. So join our Discord and we'll send you the tokens. Just join our Discord. Okay, then Thakur Shubh says, is this focus more on, okay, I answered that already. Cool, I think we have answered most of the questions. Okay, by the Clarity Act that is going to happen soon, there will be definitely more traction. Yeah, the Clarity Act. Sure. Yeah, I think we've answered most of the questions. We just let us know if you have any more questions. Drop them on the chat. Come by our Discord to actually try out these use cases yourself. Try to build some use case yourself. Maybe try to build a bridge between some other protocols, some other chains as well. Kwala actually supports, I think, most of the popular EVM chains. It does support them, and yeah, and it also supports test nets, so you could just try out even if you don't have funds. Let me know if there are any other questions. Sahil, thank you. Sahil, thank you for the intro part today. You gave a lot of insight on the current trends, especially in bridging, as well as the US take on, the US partnerships with companies like Chainlink. Cool. If there's nothing else, I'll probably say good night, good good day, whatever, wherever you're based. And is there a Discord link? Can you, anyone out there have built bridges? Yeah, if there's anyone who has already tried building bridges and you face some issues, some pain points, do share that. You can just drop it here or share it on our Discord as well. Can you, okay, I'll just, cool. I think that's all. I'll end the stream here. Bye.